So the Thundercats and the Silverhawks, they were cool. I mean, we liked them, right? And later there were shows like Street Sharks and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but there was another similar cartoon back in the 80s that not as many people remember. And they had a series of toys that not as many people remember. And those toys they're extremely rare and somewhat sought after by collectors. You're watching Rewind Toys, and today we're going to tell you all about the Tigersharks. All right, so it's 1987, and Rankin Bass Productions, yes, the same people that gave us Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty the Snowman, they've just come off the heels of two fairly successful cartoon series. The first was Thundercats, which ran for 4 seasons starting in 1985. And after that was Silverhawks, which came out in 1986. Now, both shows featured human-animal hybrid creatures, and both helped spur popular toys. And so why not do it again? All right, so first we need to go back and take a look at LJN Toys. LJN was founded way back in 1967. Its founder, Jack Friedman, started the company after seeing how successful action figure lines had been for Mattel. Now, LJN would go on to license several popular lines, including E.T., WWF, and the Thundercats. Now, wanting to have another big hitter, LJN approaches Rankin Bass, and they suggest maybe you create another show, one similar to, Thundercats and Silverhawks, to which Rankin and Bass, they're like, yeah, we could do that. So the actual cartoon itself is believed to have been conceived by Arthur Rankin Jr. and Jules Bass themselves. The idea was to focus on teamwork, while also delivering a positive message of environmentalism to kids. They would follow a team of heroes who could use this cool device they had called the fish tank to transform themselves into marine human hybrids. We'd had cats, we'd had birds, why not fish? So they lived in a spaceship / underwater ship, and they protected the alien world of Watero. Also, its inhabitants, the Watarians, and they protected them against the evil T-Ray and the Mantanas. All right, so the names weren't that creative, but the series was really fun. And maybe you don't remember it, and maybe you don't remember this thing called the comic strip. But the comic strip was really cool. It was a show that put together 4 different animated cartoons that would rotate in the schedule. Those cartoons were Street Frogs, Mini Monsters, Karate Cat, and Tigersharks. And while it never reached the popularity of, the shows that influenced it, I kind of loved it as a kid. So 8 figures were released in the toy line: Mako, Lorca, Dolph, Doc Warlow, Bronk, T-Ray, Captain Bizarrely, and Spike Marlin. There were also a number of figures and vehicles that were actually advertised in catalogs but never actually made it to market, although it is believed that several of these do have prototypes out there somewhere, and if you remember from our prototype episode, prototypes can be worth a lot of money. So if you know of one, or maybe you have one, that's really cool, and yeah, send us a picture or something. So the ones we saw in the catalog were Sharkhammer, Sawbill Cycle, Dragonstein, the Fish Tank playset, the Sark, which was their ship, and there was also plans for Walleye, Shad the Bad, and Grunt. Now, we do know that Grunt prototype absolutely exists because people have seen it in person. Interestingly enough, you might have noticed we didn't mention any action figures of most of the female characters, that being Octavia, Angel, and Soulmate. It was a weird thing. I know they tried to market a lot towards young men, and they thought we wouldn't want those, but we had Lady J and Scarlet and Baroness action figures. Most of us own those. I think they made a mistake there. I think they didn't understand that we just wanted the characters because we thought the show was cool, and we just wanted to act things out from the show. So, whatever. Hey guys, I want to thank all of you for being here, and maybe you could do me a favor. Maybe you could swim on down to that like and that subscribe button, and you could give both of those a click. It really helps the show out a ton, and we really appreciate it. I love having you here. I mean, what's the point if I don't have you here to talk toys with? So if you got a minute, actually it's more like a second, if you could go down there and click those, that'd be great. let's get back to it. So being that they were both made by LJN, the Tiger Shark and the Thundercats action figures had a lot of similarities as far as scale and some of the overall look. But the Tiger Sharks offered a flip-out transformation feature similar to the Power Ranger flip heads. I will say their packaging wasn't much to look at. It was kind of a salmon color up top with a blue bottom and depictions of coral that, kind of represented the ocean. But here's the thing. Due to lower production volume and a much shorter marketing life, they're fairly rare and thus cost more than their anthropomorphic brothers and sisters. They're also way harder to find. There's just not as many out there, and if you go looking for them, they're going to cost you, even if you stumble across one. Now, personally, I'm a vintage collector. I prefer vintage toys overall. I do have a few moderns, but mostly I go for the originals, the things I grew up with in my childhood. But I will say this. Super 7 is preparing to release a reboot of the Tiger Shark figures, and Wave 1 is actually on pre-order now, and that will be Mako, T-Ray, and Octavio. They look really good. From what I come to understand, these are just going to be the first as well. There's going to be more waves to follow. They look great. I wouldn't mind owning these myself, and I would love it if these figures sort of renewed interest, and maybe that got us a new Tiger Shark series, even an animated series. It would be wonderful because I just don't think enough people know about the Tiger Sharks. Anyway, let me know if you guys remember the comic strip, if you guys remember Tiger Sharks. Do me a favor, drop it down in the comments, because I've talked to several people, and just a lot of them were like, I don't know what the comic strip was, and I don't really know what Tiger Sharks were. If you do, if you remember these, let me know down in the comments. Really appreciate it. We had a recent uptick in subscribers, which is awesome, and I want to thank all of you who have joined us here on Rewind Toys. I also really appreciate the feedback, at least the nice ones. Some of you guys are just, you're hateful. I like when you guys remind me of things, tell me about a toy I haven't thought of in a long time, or just share your memories. It's always cool. It's why we do what we do. Talking toys is what we enjoy. With that, I hope all of you return next time when we discuss another awesome toy line. And until then, remember this. When it comes to these obscure, somewhat forgotten action figure lines, the hunt is still half the fun.